guys, we are of course back with another video. First and foremost, I hope you guys had the most amazing Christmas despite all the sort of COVID stuff going on. I hope that you managed to deal with it okay and that you had a good one. I know that my Christmas basically turned into a full day of day drinking and yeah, I'm just exhausted now. So yeah, Christmas, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good. So now that Shockmas is virtually over, I thought that we'd delve straight back into some really fucked up stuff. Now the thing that I'm going to talk about today isn't necessarily just one video, but it is a full genre of videos, and it's actually something that really disturbs me that I've never actually talked about on the channel before, and that thing is of course crush fetishes. Now when I say it's something that disturbs me, I'm not saying that nothing else ever disturbs me, because there are quite a few things that I'll see and think, yeah, that's not very nice. There are quite a few things, but because we've never actually talked about this particular thing before, I think it's worth going through it. So to start us off, a crush fetish is basically what it says in the title. It's when people crush things for their own or somebody else's sexual pleasure, and this can come in the form of many things. It can come in the form of just inanimate objects. I mean, who doesn't love seeing inanimate objects get crushed, especially when they're underneath one of those big crushing machines, which I've forgotten the name of. Things like that are pretty damn satisfying if you ask me. Have you ever seen a Lego man try to get crushed? Hydraulic press, I think it's called. You ever seen a Lego man get pressed under one of those? It doesn't happen. The Lego man just comes zooming right out, and some things like little squishy balloons and those, you know, those guys that you pull, stretch men things, they're pretty satisfying to watch crushed under a hydraulic press, and there's a bit of satisfaction in it if you ask me. But then there are other things. There are people who can actually get off on watching small animals get crushed, and that's really what we're going to talk about today. And it can happen to humans as well, but we'll get onto that in a second. It's not quite as horrific as seeing the small animals getting crushed. Now, I have seen a few of these on different gore mixtapes, you know, like MD Pope, and especially in a little mixtape I saw, which I'll probably go into detail in the future, called How to Boil a Frog. That one was especially bad for it. So these videos usually consist of, I say usually because it's not always, they usually consist of puppies, kittens, bunny rabbits, and sometimes hamsters and mice, I imagine. And it's usually just a video of somebody with either, usually stilettos. Stilettos are a very popular weapon of choice, shall we call it. So it's either stilettos or it's bare feet. And these crush fetishes are sometimes done in different ways. Sometimes the animal is made to suffer, or sometimes the animal is killed straight away. And on these videos it's sometimes done, I mean, I'm going to describe a variety of ways that I've unfortunately viewed. Sometimes the stiletto is put, obviously the stiletto's on the heel, that's sometimes put through the animal in question's eye, which I think is the most horrific way and painful way possible. And there was one particular horrible one that I saw that involved a cat. Now the cat was lying on the floor, and somebody barefooted decided to jump on and stomp all over the back end of the cat, completely crushing the back end of the cat with the front half still intact. And one particular one was involved in MD Pope that really disturbed the fuck out of me, which I will talk about, as I will now reveal that I'm going to be talking about MD Pope. I'm going to be reviewing the whole thing. maybe a month or so, and that's the big project that I've been working on. And there was one particular clip involved in that included a rabbit. Now it was a Japanese video, and the rabbit was being picked up by this woman. It was being put in a pocket. It was only a small rabbit, put in a pocket. She started dancing around with it, and then she took it out and put it onto a sort of steel box, and then she proceeded to sort of pretend to sit on it, in which obviously the rabbit begins to sort of fear for its life. It sort of knows that it's in danger, and then she proceeds to bring out a glass panel and put it on top of the rabbit. And by this point, obviously, the rabbit's so scared that it's scared stiff. Now she proceeds to sort of start crushing this rabbit with a glass panel, and then she proceeds to sit on the panel, and it's still horrible to think about now. I absolutely hate these kinds of videos. I can't imagine a normal human being wanting to get off to this kind of stuff. But anyway, she sits on this glass panel, and the rabbit just goes flat, and you can see blood coming out of its mouth, and it's sort of shaking and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely horrible. Other videos I've seen include people kicking dogs and cats in the head or stomping on the head, in which the kitten or the puppy in question will then sort of start shaking violently, you know, like it's been tortured, obviously. And again, this is obviously another exciting aspect that these sick individuals seem to get off to, and that's why it just sickens me so much, because how deprived or depraved, whichever one of those words works, I guess, do you have to be just to torture, kill and put an animal in that type of danger just to get your sexual desires? It's just something that will never make sense to me. Now, a few minutes ago I obviously mentioned that it happens with humans as well. Now, it's not to the extent that it happens to animals, you know. I've never seen a video of a human getting killed by a crush fish, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal, unless it's not, but I still don't want to see that. Now, most of these videos include a woman standing on a man's penis and balls, and it's usually hard to watch. It's not illegal, it looks painful. Obviously it's not as bad as the horrible animal ones that I've just talked about, but it makes you grab your balls quite a lot. And there was actually one particular video that I thought, oh, what the fuck, and that was when a woman was standing on a man's penis and balls wearing stilettos, and the stiletto went inside the ball sack. Yeah, horrible. And a lot of these videos just include people being stood on because for some reason they like it. Yeah, I don't know why. Obviously not as depraved as the animal stuff that I've just talked about, but yeah, I suppose I can't really kink shame the human stuff. It's a thing, but the animal stuff, yeah, that can fuck off. And it's the same sort of stuff with things like Drill Dog as well. Even though that wasn't necessarily a crush video, it was still a soft crush video, because the woman, and I hate to go back to it was so long ago now since I've made a video on it, so it doesn't feel right, but there was a part obviously in that where the woman was stepping on the dog and dragging it back. Again, I suppose that counts as, you know, a crush fetish, but a softcore crush fetish. So in conclusion to this, I'm not defending people who are into this, because I think it's absolutely atrocious, but a lot of this sort of crush fetish stuff might be caused by maybe trauma with animals, or hate for animals that have hurt you in the past, or maybe from a young age you've probably I don't know, crushed snails or something like that, or you've crushed something and you've quite enjoyed doing it. So as you've got older, it becomes sort of a sexual fantasy type thing. But overall, this stuff just really disgusts me. Now, I wouldn't be human, obviously, if stuff didn't get to me. Like, obviously there's a lot of, shall we say, edgy people out there who will laugh at this kind of stuff and maybe make a joke out of it, but I don't find it funny whatsoever. So obviously I'm going to admit that it bothers me, among many other things, as it should. I think that's all I've really got to say about that. There's not a lot you can say about this thing. It's horrible, it shouldn't happen, and I just find it completely strange that it's a sexual thing for some people. So yeah, that's about it guys. Thanks for watching, and if you want, like, subscribe, and maybe click that little bell next to the subscribe button. You get my latest updates. We're ready for the new year, let's bring it on. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.